Hello, and welcome to this guided meditation. I am Cassandra the Oracle. You can also call me Cass, and this is going to be a guided cord cutting session. If you've never done a cord cutting session before, that is completely fine. I will be doing all the heavy lifting here, so all you have to do is listen and relax as I guide you and your energetic body through the motions of this process. Now, I would ask that you put away any cellular devices, anything that is distracting you, and dedicate just a few minutes of your time to this exercise. I have set the intention that if you were called into this meditation, it's because there's someone in your life that you need to cut cords from. So, the process of cutting cords is fairly simple. You can cut cords with people on a daily basis. This is part of good spiritual hygiene. There's different types of cords. There are lighter, how would I describe them? They're lighter, maybe thinner cords that you acquire on a daily basis as a result of encountering different people. Now, this can happen when you are connecting with them over the phone. It can happen via video chat, in person, seeing them at the store. It doesn't really matter. It's just whenever your energetic bodies brush against each other. And because time and space, they're both constructs, so you are able to form cords, or likewise, other people are able to form cords with you over large distances as well as over spans of time. So, what this means is that it's important for you as an energetic, as a spiritual person, to cleanse your energy regularly. Now, for the cord cutting today, we're going to be focusing on a singular person whom we need to cut cords with. I'm being told this is either a familial member, like a family member, or someone in your inner circle, like a close friend. This is specifically what the intention of this cord cutting is going to be for. Loki is going to be guiding this session, so we will be taking a little tour with him through your mind and snipping away any of these cords, if there's one or more, that you need cut in your life. Now, the cords we're cutting are going to be a little bit deeper than the lighter ones that I talked about. The ones that we're talking about are going to be ones that have been formed maybe even over generations. They're going to be ones that have been formed over, lifetime, over years. These are going to be very long-standing cords. So if there's anyone in your life that you may have felt a particular influence from, or you may have felt their energy around you even when they are not around you, or you find these people come into your thoughts regularly, this is going to be what that cord cutting is for. This is not going to be a romantic or love interest cord cutting. Like I said, it'll be like a family or close friend soul tie cord cutting. I'm going to do a separate cord cutting for romantic love interests because I do feel they should be separate. Not that you can't use one video for both, but I'm setting the specific intention for my collective to be able to choose, to have options. I believe it's important that we have agency in our decisions and that we're really intentional with who and what we want to cut cords with. I may, if there's enough interest, decide to make a general cord cutting video too. What I've been doing lately is just tapping into the collective energy and asking what you are looking for, what kind of videos you want to see from me. And so last night, I was hearing a big cry from this collective for cord cutting and a few different types of cord cutting. So I am starting today diligently on this for you. So, and I also feel, once again, there is quite a lot of throat chakra energy here. So there's this feeling of suppression. There's this feeling of like tension, like frustration a little bit of like, when something sticky is on you and you can't get it off of you and it just makes you very irritated. That's the feeling I'm getting from this collective when I tap in and kind of ask, hey, what cords do we want to cut today? So I did also, when the session started, have Archangel Michael come in and just kind of set the energetic scene. But like I said, Loki's going to be guiding this session. Okay, so now we're going to start the cord cutting session. So if you want to take a deep breath, find a quiet and comfortable position to sit in, that you can be uninterrupted for at least a few minutes of your time. I believe this is going to take longer than a few minutes, but I know people are busy, so I'm setting the intention that you receive the benefits of this for as long as you are able to listen to this. I believe it'll help you to hear the full thing, but however much you can do, I think that's great. A lot of this work is going to come from you and your subconscious. I am merely here as a facilitator, helping to reconnect you with your power, helping you to become more sensitive in your energetic body to release these sort of attachments. Like I said, this is going to be the cord cutting session for close friends or family or generational kind of soul tie bonds. So if you want to cut ties with a lover or love interest, that's going to be a separate video. And when I've made that, I'll link that down below probably. Okay, so now that you're seated in a quiet, comfortable position, no distractions around you, I am going to let Loki lead you through this session. So right now you have an energetic shield around your body. You're going to notice there's a few cords coming in and out of this shield though. This explains why you've been feeling like you're protected and yet still like something is draining your energy or tapping into your energy against your will. Loki is standing here and he is smiling. He's in a good mood. He's very excited to be called on for this session. Really, he was calling to me to do it and to have him lead it. He appears differently for everyone. He is a gender fluid deity, so some people do see his feminine aspect, some see his masculine aspect. He is a shapeshifter as well, so you may perceive him with different hair colors, different styles, different looks. How I see him generally, he has long red hair and he has green eyes, either green blue eyes or he has yellow eyes, just kind of depends on the lighting and his mood. Yeah, sometimes he has stubble on his chin and some freckles, sometimes not. He has a lot of tattoos, a lot of bind runes and things along his arms. So I see him here, he's wearing a short sleeve green tunic and he has long dark green pants that are baggy and a brown belt. And he's also got a lot of different types of jewelry on. If you've never interacted with a deity in a way where you can see what they're wearing or how they have done their hair, which speaking of, he's got kind of some braids on the side going down his back and some of it is loose. It's really cool. They do change their outfits and their appearance, just like we do. All is energy in the astral, and it's very subjective what is perceived there. So as you find your own psychic gifts developing, you may find that you encounter your deities or your spirit guides in forms that you don't expect them to be in. Don't mind this. My cats are fighting again near here, which makes sense given that we're cutting cords. So I want you to take a really deep breath. I feel, oh my gosh, I feel a lot of anxiety coming up from you guys. I'm feeling questions. I'm just going to start saying some of the questions that are coming in from this collective. I'm hearing, will it be okay? Can I do this? Will they be angry at me? I'm hearing, am I allowed to do this? Is it okay that I do this? I'm supposed to keep them in my life. I don't know if I can do this. I'm hearing, I don't want them here anymore, but also I don't want them gone. This makes sense. This feels very family to me. It's probably a family connection someone's talking about. I'm hearing, I'm really nervous to let them go because I don't know what'll happen. I don't know if they'll be mad at me or angry at me. I don't know. So I'm hearing a lot of anxiety and confusion. And Loki wants you to sit down here because in the astral here, you actually stood up and are very distressed. And so he is sitting you down here in a nice green plush chair. And he is running his hand over your hair. And he wants you to know that you've been very good and there's nothing wrong with what you're doing right now. He has a really soft and gentle smile on his face. He says, I know, dear soul, this is very scary for you. I know that not a lot of people in your life give you permissions to do things. But that's why I'm here for you today, because I am your permission. You can call on me whenever you need permission to release something that doesn't serve you. And don't be afraid, because he's laughing here. He says, I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. I'm not afraid to be blamed as the scapegoat, to be outcast, to be ostracized, to be looked at as, hey, who are you? You're crazy. Um, he says, lean on me when you feel like you can't do these things, because I have done them before. So I can be strength for you. I can be really strong for you. Where you feel like you're struggling, I am there and I am strong, and you can lean on me, and it's okay. I don't mind when you lean on me. In fact, you can think of yourself as my weight. And he's like lifting weights here, and he says, the more that you lean on me, the stronger I get. So bring it on, he says. He's really excited to be doing this for you today. So he is now bidding you to rise from the chair, and he says, walk with me, stranger, because we aren't strangers anymore. And he is taking you down a stone path. It's a cobblestone path, and there's trees on either side of the path. And you're walking through a green section of the forest. It's very soft, kind of green grass on either side. And then after a few feet, it's dense foliage and forest. And the leaves overhead are kind of shaking in the wind, and there's a rustling going through them. And he asks you to notice what color the leaves are in your mind. And as you pause to take a look at these leaves here and start to see them take shape before you, and start to see the color of these leaves, perhaps even the texture of them, perhaps even the appearance of them, maybe the species, he says, dear listener, I want you to know that the size of these leaves, the season of these leaves, the color and texture of these leaves, these all pertain to your connection with the person you are dealing with. He says, we are going deep into your subconscious today, and we are pulling symbolism for you to associate with things in your life. He says, the greatest symbols of life are able to condense powerful experiences into easily digestible formats. I want you to think more in terms of symbols, dear listener, than you do in words, because your words can trip you up and confuse you, and they make you confused with your morality and your speculation. And I want you to lose these concepts for a moment. I want you to just feel your emotions for what they are. I want you to step into the state of knowing. I want you to see the trees for their leaves and their colors and their blossoms or lack thereof, and their dryness or their wetness or anything else about them you notice. He says, because, dear viewer, this is more honest than you generally are with yourself. You will allow yourself to perceive symbols in such a way that you would never allow yourself to think in words. And he is smiling here because he sees like a light bulb kind of going off in your head, and he is very excited for you. And he says, aha, yes, this is the moment I've been waiting for you to have. Come quickly. So he takes your hand and he says, remember to take note of the season where you saw yourself. I'm so sorry. My cat's eating my plant. Get off of my plant. Oh my gosh. Okay. So sorry about that. That's really interesting. I don't know why he was on my plant. I'm sorry. I hope I wasn't too loud there, but I feel this person's feeding on your energy, because that is a crazy synchronicity that my cat would be eating the plant. Again, I am so sorry. That was very startling for me, and I'm sure it was very startling for you. I feel this is the message. It's very important you cut the ties with this person, because yeah, they are feeding off of you. Maybe they realize it and maybe they don't, but yeah, my cat was really chowing down on the plant there. And I just saw 444 on my timer. Yeah. So this is a sign of divine protection and angelic influence. Yeah, wow. As you know, I always set the intention for whatever happens during the reading to be significant, or the channeling to be significant. So, yeah, wow, what a powerful message. Um, I'm going to take us back into our light trance state here. And again, so sorry that that happened. I felt a huge rush of emotions, both from the cat and the collective, all coalescing at once. And it was just really intense. I'll try to be more mindful of that in the future. So, okay. So please close your eyes again. I'm sure that they opened. And take a deep breath with me. And now we're back on the cobblestone path with Loki, and he is smiling here, like quite mischievously. He says, "Dear listener, I want you to know that everything happens for a reason. There's nothing that happens by accident. And if you find yourself taken by alarm, or overwhelmed, or shocked, or furious with anything that you suddenly realize, recognize this is a lesson for you to learn from. It is not punishment, it is enlightenment." Um, Excuse me. So I am burping here, which for me always signifies a big clearing of energy, and my stomach is rumbling quite a lot. It's in the solar plexus area, and it kind of moved up through the heart chakra. And my cat is going over to the plant again. I'm going to move him down from the plant calmly this time. I don't know why he is there, but it's clearly picking up on something, and he keeps going back to the plant. I'm actually gonna have to move this plant to another location. I'm so sorry, because yeah, I can't get him to stay away from this. So I think this is another message: is that you may need to physically distance yourself from some people in your life, or from some places that you have been going. Um, because there's this feeling of, as we're in this session trying to cut these cords, and there this cat is chasing them, so someone here does not want you to cut these cords, and is working. Their cat just like grabbed me as I walked by her. Yeah, this is really good that you're here today, and I'm very thankful for it, because you clearly need these cords cut like now. I've never seen this before. I I've had this plant for a while. My cat's not done that. So anyway, we're gonna go back to the session again, and Loki is smiling again, and he says, "Dear listener, as you can see, this person is quite persistent. I want you to take note of these disturbances, and I want you to strengthen your boundaries." He says, "You unknowingly invite chaos, such as myself, into your life when you do not respond appropriately to the stimulations from other people." He says, "When you fail to notice how other people feed off of your energy," he says, "this causes disillusionment to you." And he says, "This furthers your pain. And the reason is because you keep hoping these people will change their behavior, but they don't. They keep returning to feed from you." And he says, "These people want entertainment, if they want value, they want control, maybe they just want, money or energy." He says, "But what is important for you to know is that these people are not a benefit in your life." So he says, now you're going to start noticing a color appearing before you. And he says, the first name of a color that pops into your head when he says this, he says, take notice of that. You can write it down or just think about it. And he says, my cat is biting another thing. This is crazy. He says, this color is going to be very significant for you. He says, this is the color of the first person. I'm getting there's 3 people we're going to cut cords for today. He says, this is the first person who you need to cut cords with. I'm getting for most of you, this color is going to be red, but I'm also hearing it might be yellow. It's okay if it's not either of those two, but that's what's coming up for me, for you. And he says, red indicates passionate color. So this could be someone who's very invested in your life. excuse me, and I am burping again. There's some clearing already happening here. I'm hearing there's realizations happening as well. So yeah, this could be a very fiery person, or it could just be someone who is very adventurous, very like bold or daring, strong personality. These are often ones that are hard to cut ties with because they are like bold and persistent. He says the yellow is a more, if it's yellow, it's like a more sunshiny kind of energy. It's a more like sunny disposition. It is someone who wants friendship, but like doesn't know the appropriate boundaries. I'm hearing. Yeah, and he says it's your job to remind people of where your boundaries are, not their job to know what they are without you telling them. So, yeah, whatever color it is, though, he says just take note of it and do some color research. But he says we're actually just going to cut it right now. And he's saying this because he can feel this energy is very persistent. So he's taking a large pair of scissors and he is actually taking the cord now in his hands. And he says, are you ready? My cat is going back to another plant this time. This is wild. I'm going to move that one too. So this is crazy. I've never seen this. Why is he so obsessed with his plants? I know why, but also it's just silly. Yeah. So he's taking this cord in his hands and he is starting to cut it. As he starts cutting it, I hear a scream, actually. And the scream's actually from you. I thought it might be from this other person, but it's from you. There's a feeling of dependency here. And I'm being told that not always is dependency because someone's benefiting you, but it's because someone's familiar to you. Yeah. And he is drawing this. I'm so sorry. I have to, give me just a moment. I'm almost thinking I have to re-record this, but I really don't want to re-record it because I feel this is really valuable, but I just cannot believe how much I'm having to move these plants. Like, I don't even know if I have places in this. And now my cat's knocking over my recording things. Okay. This is a lot. Your energy is really difficult and is honestly, it's annoying me. It's annoying me quite a lot. I feel a lot of irritation that I cannot just sit and do what I want to do. I feel really annoyed that I know what is in the best interest of, either me or this collective to cut this tie. And it feels like this person really doesn't want it to be cut. And so is energetically interfering with me every time. I can't even count now how many times I've been interrupted doing this. Loki is just laughing here and he's like, this is why I kept telling you like last night we need to do this cord cutting. It's like, you don't realize how persistent these people are. Okay, all right, thanks Loki. So okay, his eyes are like very golden here and shining. He's laughing and he says it's not that serious. It's never that serious. And he wants you to remember that, even though it can feel overwhelming and scary when someone is in your energy. Don't worry, because he says there's nothing done that cannot be undone. There is no attachment made that cannot be unattached. And he's showing even like a ladder or a bridge can be disassembled. He says that imagery might be helpful for you, like taking down a ladder or rolling up a ladder or taking out the steps of a bridge. He says even if a structure remains, if the substance of it is gone, that is good enough in most cases. So for some of you, you may not be able to totally remove this person from your life, but you'll at least be a good distance from them, and that will help. The more you energetically shield and do these kind of cord cuttings, the more that will help. Okay. So he's taking this cord again. I see that for a lot of you, it is a red cord. Like I said, maybe it is yellow. Maybe it's another color, doesn't matter. And he is taking his knife now because he says scissors aren't going to cut it. He's so funny. Okay, so he's smiling a lot. He has his knife And so he starts sawing at this. And this time it's not you who is screaming. My cat's finally settling down, by the way. But this other person is screaming. They are very angry. I hear like dark she banshee. Like I hear an older woman like shouting. I hear some swearing. I hear like that no good, blah blah blah. I'm trying to be censored here. I don't want to do anything that might get my video taken down. So yeah, I'm just hearing a very angry woman. Interestingly, as I looked on the ground, because my gray cat Freya is stepping over here, there's a whisker. She has like a white whisker that dropped on the ground, and a cat whisker is a sign of protection. So I feel if you work with the goddess Freya, this is definitely a confirmation from her that you're protected. If not, just in general, know like the gods protect you, right? Like you are safe, you are protected. Nobody can harm you. Nobody can significantly damage you such like you cannot recover from it. She's actually being really cute. She's curled around my iPad right now, and yeah, she has her paws like right in front and is just like demure is the only way I can describe her. She's very cutely, patiently waiting, and her little whisker is in front of her. So, because I picked it up and put it there. Yeah. So this is a big message of reassurance, and I feel a lot of warmth now coming in as Loki is cutting this cord. You didn't realize this had made you feel like colder or emptier is what I'm hearing. It's a very cold connection, like bitter for a lot of you, I'm hearing. It might be a mother figure. You may have a mother figure, maybe a grandmother, probably more like a mother or some sort of older female figure in your life. Again, some of you that may not resonate for, and that's totally okay. That's just what a lot of this collective, it seems, is dealing with. Freya just put her paw out for me to touch it. That's cute. Yeah. So as this cord is cut, I'm seeing something coming from it. I see like green, like a gushing green, like a poison, like a toxicity. Yeah, like that was feeding into this, and that is going to be gone now. So you are going to find your energy field a lot clearer. If you've been feeling sluggish or depressed or sad or angry, anything like that, you're going to be feeling a lot better. And just so you know, the cat that was going crazy trying to eat all my plants, my orange one, Lucifer, he is no longer trying to do that. So that is great news. So I feel that is a good confirmation of a successful cord cutting. Wow. I'm feeling a really big release. I'm still feeling anxiety and I feel a sense of regret, interestingly enough. What is this regret that I'm feeling? I'm feeling this, my solar plexus, my stomach is, it's this feeling, it's a weight, it's a sadness. And it's actually 11:11. I just looked at my clock right now. I hear, dear listener, does this have something to do with your manifestations? I wonder if that will resonate for some of you. I hear heave ho for some reason. Like yo ho. That that shanty, that sailor pirate shanty. I hear a pirate's life for me. Okay, there's this feeling of maybe you being a little villainous, but I think this is good for you. This is very good for you. Loki says he wants to pull the attention back to him now because we've drifted a little away from him. And he takes you by the shoulders and he like locks eyes with you and he says, dear listener, don't be so naive as you think that one good turn deserves another. He says, don't take advantage of people's kindness, and also don't let them take advantage of yours. If you are doing kind things for people, make sure the favors are being returned unto you. Do not leave them to be collected at a later date, because I promise you, they will not be there waiting for you if you think that they will be if you never collect them. He's showing me like this bank account that collects dividends or interest, but like it can only hold so much. And so it reaches a certain point of capacity and then it doesn't accept anymore. I'm also seeing like video game imagery. So it's like your inventory slot or your gold slot, like something is full and can't accept anymore. And so you keep thinking you're gaining more, but like you you have already like cashed in essentially, like you have already gotten what you can get. Um, and even if you were to empty it, I'm being told like the account is closed. So whatever you had poured into this connection and we're thinking like maybe it's gaining interest or maybe I'm putting more into it, like it's done. It's not. You put in all that you could, you got out what you could. The only thing left to do is like literally close the account. It's already like I'm hearing it's like an escrow or it's yeah, it's like it can't be touched, right? Like it's done. So just leave it. Um Yeah, he's nodding. Yeah, he says move on from this, start a new account if you must, but like leave this one alone. It's interesting that's finance terminology. So some of you might do investments, might do finance things. Um, okay, so now he is giggling again. He says there's one more, and he's holding up a strand. This is interesting. So the other cord was quite thick, um, and this one is thinner. This one is like more of a friendship cord. Um, It's like slithery too. It's a little bit like a snake. Like it almost has a little bit of a mind of its own. Um, Excuse me. I'm feeling, I burped again. There is a feeling of clearing coming up from the solar plexus chakra up through the heart and a little bit through the throat. And then also there's a rumbling in my stomach again. And I actually happened to glance up and I have a card with the Aztec deity Quetzalcoatl on it. He is associated with the feathered serpent. That's another name for him. So it's funny that I was feeling he was very snake-like, and I happened to look up and saw that over on one of my altar spaces. There's this feeling I'm getting, like I'm actually kind of shaking my arms, like I can't quite find the words. Um, it's this feeling of trying to be understood, but something's not quite connecting. And there's this confusion and it's slithering and it's like tenuous and it's like not necessarily malicious, but it's not necessarily helpful either. It's very weird. That's the best way. It's like weird. And I think of it in this like WYRD, like just it's a strange thing. Um, So Loki is saying, this is not a friendship cord you made. This is made when someone is trying to connect with you and form friendship with you and is unsuccessful. And yet the cord remains unattached or unconnected. Like this is very weird. I don't know if I've seen this before. It's like, it's hanging in space a bit. Like it's between you, but like not fully connected, but it's like in your energetic spheres. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Like it's in both of your auric spheres that I see between you and this person. This is weird. And it's like wiggling, but like it's not directly plugged into you or them. It almost feels like something that was forgotten to be cut. Like it was meant to be cut, but not quite. And now it's just sort of like zombie moding, Loki is saying. And so it's just causing a little bit of havoc. This isn't a huge deal, but we are going to clear it up. And I'm seeing 333 on my timer as we're doing this. So, Loki, why are you smiling and giggling? He definitely knows something. We'll see. I am meditating with a snake stone, by the way, here with this meditation. So if you resonate with that stone, you may also find, sorry, it's a snake skin stone. Yeah, if I said that correctly. It helps with shedding layers and shedding things that don't serve. You may find you benefit from meditating with that, or just look up the image of one and call in its energy into your field. I hear annoyance. I'm actually, I'm hearing a specific word. I'm hearing a word I don't know if I can say. Like weird. I'm going to spell it out. Just the first word of each of these. I'm going to say friend, adversary, generation. It's the first word of each of those. So it's a 3-letter word. I don't know why this word is coming through very strongly, but I don't really like the vibe from it. It's very weird. So we're definitely cutting this cord. Um, yeah, maybe that is just a very specific message for some of you. It may not resonate with you, but wow, I don't normally get such specific messages quite like that. So, all right, so Loki is taking his knife, and I hear breaking the snake's spine. Um, so he actually just takes this cord and kind of like snaps it over his knee, and the yellow just like disintegrates into this dust, and it's just like it dies. So if you've been having some self-consciousness you couldn't quite pinpoint or locate, this may resonate with you. There's this, it's like a weird feeling of relief, but also not quite relief. I don't know how to describe it. This was just a very weird chord. I don't usually encounter chords like this. I haven't quite seen one like this before, in fact. I've seen a lot of chords. So at any rate, that's good that we did that. Loki is showing me one more green one. For most of you, it's going to be green. It might be a different color. I'm seeing a green color quite strongly. And he says this is your connection with like nature. I'm hearing like family tarnishes reputation in the South. And I'm not sure how that might apply to you. You can leave that if that doesn't resonate. There's this feeling of like how people around you interpret nature, or how people in like your family or close friend circle interact with nature. Maybe some people don't appreciate nature in the way that they should or they need to in your energetic sphere. Um, he's saying there's a feeling of not belonging with this chord. Like, I'm hearing like industrial military complex. This is very strange. And I'm like wanting to burp, but I can't burp. There is something very stuck and trapped feeling. Wow, this is a crazy cord cutting session, you guys. I've never done one quite like this before. Um, Loki is laughing, and he's like, "That's because you haven't let me lead it for other people before like this." And well, he's right. Um, he is good at finding weird things. I'm going to tap into the energy of this cord. I hear the word bristling, bristly. I hear not good, savior, not good, not good. Ryan? I don't know if I'm hearing the name Ryan or client or something like that. It's kind of hard to make out. Or Brian, maybe. I hear like desolation. Weirdly, I see this cord as like plugged into concrete. There might be a building that is significant. I don't know if that will resonate for you. Or like an energetic place, perhaps like the workplace or something. Okay, this might be a coworker. This might be someone in your coworker space. I hear that gives a facade of innocence. They're not innocent. Do not trust them. Okay, so again, if that resonates, take that. If it doesn't, perhaps it's a little different in your situation. Again, I'm just reading for the collective at large. Loki says that we're sweeping house in a few different places. And he says also to remember there are not bad people. There are only bad choices, bad cohesions, bad chemistries. So like someone that is right for you may not be right for another person, and vice versa. And he says, whoa, I'm like burping again. My stomach just feels really weird, kind of heavy. He says, dear soul, remember that what's right for you is not right for everyone, and what fits for you does not fit everyone. And this is right in the way it should be. Do not label people as bad or good or evil. Simply label them as is. And they either is serving your mission or they is not. He's laughing at this. He kind of said it in an accent, like a southern accent. Like they serving your mission or they ain't not. Like something like that. So silly. But he's like very good natured through this, and he wants to remind you to be good natured. He says, don't be so serious, don't be so glum, don't be so down about this. He says, this is really good for you and exciting. He says, do you have any idea the connections we're opening you up to now? And I just saw 3939 on my timer. Do you have any idea the connections we're opening you up to now that we've done this? Baby, the world is going to be so clear for you. It's going to be crazy. He's really excited as he's saying this. So he is taking this, and he's cracking it like a glow stick, again over his knee. I don't know why he is choosing to do it this way, but he seems to like this motion. So the green line kind of lights up like electricity, and then it like dissolves and integrates back into the earth. And like I'm seeing grass sprouting up from whatever this like I hear failed connection was. Um, this might be something you could try again at or in a different way. But he says that this connection was actually quite fruitful. Like it taught you something about yourself. It taught both of you something, and it like left areas better for it. This might not be in a way you see immediately or recognize right away, because grass, takes a little while to bloom, and then flowers take even longer to bloom. But he says, trust that this was good and in alignment, and now it just no longer is. He's saying, whoa, okay, so this was really intense for these 3 energetic clearings we just did. I feel this feeling of loss from you who's listening to this. And Loki wants to comfort you because he says you were feeling the emptiness of what was there and now no longer is. He says it's difficult to let go of things when they're not serving us, because even if they aren't serving us, so long as it at least seems like they aren't actively attacking us, we want to keep them. And he says, but your arms, dear listener, are human, and you can only hold so much in them. He says, I want you to let go of your burdens, let go of trying to hold everyone up, hold everything up, let go of those things. He says, let them stand on their own 2 feet, because you also do them a disservice when you try to maintain a connection that deserves to die. He says, that's really interesting phrasing, a connection that deserves to die. He says, you deny people their rebirth when you deny them the right to show you who they are. He says, there's a lot of power in seeing people for who they are. Just let them be who they want to be. He says, you don't like when people try to make you fit their mold, do you? So stop trying to make them fit your mold. And he's actually showing you a mirror here. And he says, look at you, look at yourself. You hate when people try and control you, right? So why do you keep trying to control the whole world around you? Just let them disappoint you. He used a swear word there. It's like, let them effing like let you down. Like let them prove you wrong. Give them the chance to prove you right, and let them prove you wrong. He says, cry about it and get over it, and be happy they showed you who they are. He says, it's so rare in life that we can see people for who they are, and the greatest gift we can do to honor a person's authenticity is to see them for who they are, to us at least, in the context of the conversation. He says, show people the basic human decency of respecting their decisions, even if they are decisions you do not agree with, even if they are decisions you do not like. And he's really emphasizing and hammering home this point here of like, you thought you were saving a dying connection when all you were doing was prolonging its death. He says you draw this out into something unpleasant and unpleasurable when you just don't let it die. He says, suck it up and be a man, or be a woman, or be whatever you are, and let it be. He says, let what needs to die, die, and this is the greatest form of strength that you can show. I'm seeing 333 on my timer now. Sorry, I'm like burping quite a bit again. Like there's a really big energy clearing. I'm feeling a lot of like realization and like maybe frustration. There's a feeling of accusation maybe coming from this collective. And Loki wants to assure you he's not accusing you. He is reminding you of your power and also of the power of other people. He says, don't disempower other people to make excuses for their behavior, to make excuses for why they act the way they do. He says, treat them like, swear word, adults. He says, treat them like they are whole grown adults. He says, and they are not toddlers or children for you to coddle. Let them taste the consequences of their own actions because they're adults. He keeps emphasizing this. So I feel like there's this like, you've been maybe thinking you're being the nice guy or being good by letting certain people stay in your life. And he's like, heck no. He says, cut them off. And again, I'm seeing 4 4s on my timer as I'm saying this. He says, girl, like, don't be afraid cutting these people out. Like, do not be afraid of cutting them out. He says if they're really meant to stay in your life, then what the heck are you so scared of? Even if you cut them out, they're just gonna boomerang right back to you, right? Like, how many times do you try to get rid of certain people and they just stick around? Like, he says, think of the best friends in your life, think of the close relatives or people in your life. He's like, some people are just going to be there through thick and thin. It doesn't matter. And he says, and he holds your face in his hands. He's saying this, and he's like, says this softly. He says, I never want you to worry that you could ever do anything to mess up what is for you. He says, the people that love you, that stand by you, that support you 100% unconditionally, those are the people, they really love you. And I want you to hold on to them. Stop holding space in your heart for these people that are filling the positions that deserve to be filled by those who love you. Stop leaving space for the people who don't honor you. Start making space for the people who do. And like, I see you standing there kind of in like this stunned silence, like, wow, no one's ever talked to me like that before. And Loki is like smiling and nodding. He's like, yeah, that's how I am. This is very him. He will give you the hard medicine, but like with a lot of love, with a lot of discipline and respect. And Loki's like, I tell you the truth because you can take it. Like, I inject the chaos because you need it and because it's time for it. He wants to remind you, you're a really empowered soul. You are strong. I feel a heat rising in this collective right now. Like, there's no need for embarrassment. Like, just rise up, dust yourself off, know like this is for your highest good, and just trust everything is constantly working out for you. He says, again, dear listener, I want you to know you can never mess up what is for you, whether it be a friend, a family member, a lover, any of that. And he's like, it is good when people don't get along with you because it shows you who you are. The people who no longer resonate with you, that's good. He says, look at this as a sign of progress. He says, I want you to be so, so proud of the people who start falling away from you now, from the people who don't resonate with you now. Because, dear listener, I want you to ask yourself, would I be proud to be associated with that person? If someone said, wow, you're just like so and so, would I be delighted? Would I be honored? Would I be happy? He's laughing because he like is showing you guys shaking your head no, like, no way. And he's like, good, so don't be coddling these people that you don't want to be compared to. He says, look at the people in your life and think in terms of, would I be honored to be associated with them, to be respected by them, or are these people I don't want in my life and I would be embarrassed if people compared me to them? Like, think on that. Think not on how can I make this other person more comfortable, but think, am I embarrassed by this person? Like, do I actually want them around? He says, and then make your decision based on that. And it'll give you a lot of clarity. So he's smiling really big now, and he says it's time for you to go home. So he is wiping away a bunch of leaves. My cats have actually fallen asleep. I wonder if some of you will fall asleep in this because that sometimes happens in sessions like this. And he takes your hand, he walks you back down this cobblestone path, he takes you to a little cottage, a little hut. He says, dear listener, you can come back here and consult with me whenever you need. If you ever find another soul tie or a cord or connection that needs cutting, he says, come back here to my cottage in the woods and we'll walk on the cobblestone path together and we'll be free. We'll have fun. We'll bring out the scissors. We'll bring out the knives. We'll dance a bit. We'll play with the snakes and we'll cut away what no longer serves. And then we'll come right back to this cottage to have a nice cozy cup of tea or hot chocolate, just some cozy tea time with each other, okay? And he pats you on the head and he gives you a kiss on your cheek. And he looks at you with just this adoring look of love in his eyes. And he says, I am so proud of you. I know you may not have known me before this, but I'm so proud of you. And if we did know each other before this, then I know that you can stand to be told again. I am so proud of you. And he's smiling. There's a lot of love in his eyes. And he says, don't be embarrassed. Don't be afraid. Just be happy and just enjoy your life. I do these things because I want you to enjoy your life. No one should hold your life down such that you can no longer enjoy it. So go and be free, dear soul. And now I see that this cottage is like fading from view. And you're going to feel yourself kind of going back into your body and just give your Give yourself a moment to have like a really deep breath. Breathe into your body. Feel the ground underneath your feet. Feel your hands, wiggle your toes. Maybe open your eyes if you've shut them. If there's any alarms going off, I hear like for some of you, you might hear an alarm going off, or there soon might be an alarm going off for you. Go ahead and turn that off. Remind yourself that you're safe, you're protected. You have the mighty trickster god Loki on your side, helping make sure that nobody takes advantage of you, and that it doesn't matter if you're looked at as the bad guy or you're looked at for being selfish. He supports your decision in doing this today. He supports you empowering yourself. Wow, what a beautiful message to end this cord cutting on. So thank you so much for listening to this. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you just feel so, so empowered and so, so loved, and know that every time a cord cutting happens, it is always for the greatest and highest good of the people involved that are doing the cord cutting. And there's trust that all this is going to shake out just fine. I'm hearing Loki say give it a few weeks, and you're going to start to notice some very big differences. Some of you might be sooner, but it'll probably take a few weeks for some of you. So I am sending you all so much love and light and gratitude for your shadows. I saw 111 on the clock, so take that as your final angel number and just have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day. Thanks so much.